All right, welcome to the April 4th Eclipse OpenJ9 community call. We've got our usual agenda in front of us. Please add your name and affiliation so we know who's been attending. And then I will pause for a second. If there's something you want to add to the agenda that isn't there, feel free to chime in now or to add it into the any other business section. All right. We don't have a lightning talk scheduled this week. If you have one that you'd like to give, reach out to me. We'll get that set up. Let me open up the recent user raised issues, and we can see what's come in the last week. Issue with DDR not working. Looks like we've got a PR for that. A unexpected global GC. Looks like more of a question than an issue, so some discussion there. A crash with a divide by zero, and some other questions. Any of these look like they need some discussion this week? All right, then we'll jump back to the agenda. That brings us to the roadmap section. For 038, looks like we're getting very close. We're down to 8 issues here. Pete, do you have the status on these?
Some of them might move out. The handle SIG user 2, we're waiting for input to see whether we want to stick that change in or not. The CRIU one's under investigation. There's a couple of FIPS ones that we need somebody to look at. Don't know if they're going to be problems for the release or not yet at this point.
Okay. Because we're down to what, 14 days?
Yep.
Do we have people to look at the FIPS issues?
I think so.
Okay. It's good to hear. Anything else we need to touch on for the 038 release?
I don't think so.
All right. So that brings us to Java 19. And there we're down to 4 items.
The big issue here seems to be the Skynet timeouts. The change that was supposed to resolve those got delivered yesterday. And we ran builds on the 037 stream with that change and also the head stream. And we're still seeing timeouts. And in Java 20, there's even a couple of timeouts in tests that weren't timing out before.
Okay. Do we have a sense of, have we had a chance to investigate those issues yet?
No, not yet.
I've taken a quick look at the output on those test failures. The timeout from the Java 19 head stream, I think it's sort of expected. Reason being that those are running on compressed ref, and with the recent change that went in, it only fixed the performance issue related to the global list holding a lock contention when we're trying to modify the list every location. However, with the compressed ref cases, there's still a lock contention on the sub4G allocator. And that is something that we haven't really found a way to fix in terms of that lock contention. The only proposed solution currently is just to either we stop the allocation if possible, or we reuse the allocated stacks, so we avoid calling that mechanism as much as possible.
So similar to how we pool dead J9 threads, we're going to pool dead continuations.
Yeah, that was one of the proposed solutions for this problem. For the there was one case where we see a invalidated return address in Java 20. This has not been seen previously in any of the testing, so I'm not sure where that come from. I think it will need a bit more attention.
Okay.
Have you had a chance to look at the timeouts in the other tests, pin a lot, and I can't remember the other one offhand?
No, but I will be taking a look as soon as I finish going through the Skynet timeouts and the one JIT invalid return address.
Okay.
So in terms of status for the rest of the issues here, I think the breakpoint and yield test is kind of on hold. Jack might have more info, but I think we're concentrating on the Skynet and not paying that much attention to the breakpoint one. Is that correct?
Yeah. So the breakpoint, where we're suspecting there might be a specific case where we just missed the JIT scanning for the continuation stack. We're not sure where exactly that thing is being happening.
The DDR one, there's a PR that hopefully will get merged shortly, and the timing hole looks like there's a PR for that one too that might also get merged shortly.
Is the missing, sorry, back to the breakpoint one, a point where we're missing the JIT stack scanning? Did I understand that correctly?
So when JIT wants to free their co-cache allocation, they're doing a walk after a GC hook when GC is in a stop world stage. We're suspecting that somewhere during that walk, something went wrong. Either it's that we're missing one newly allocated or one newly deallocated continuation. The one that we most likely just in the cleanup phase, but we haven't fully cleaned it yet. We either are missing that or we are missing the one that was supposed to do it. There's also the possibility if it's drawing transitions that we're scanning it, the stack walker may fail. If it failed, it will not be able to scan the full stack.
Okay. Those sound like things that could occur outside of breakpoint testing.
I'm not 100% sure if that's the case because I suspect if it was the fact that it failed during stack scanning, it might be particular to breakpoint because of how injecting a breakpoint might have consequences on the stack walk.
Okay. It would be good to get to the root of that, though.
Yep.
All right. With the Skynet, with the new issues from the Skynet change, we have been waiting on this change as the fix for before doing an M2 build. I guess we're still in a waiting pattern until we can evaluate the new failures.
Yes, but if we're not overly concerned about performance, I don't think just seeing Skynet itself as a timing out would be the problem, as that performance issue sort of is already well known.
Well, if compressed refs was the only issue, that would be fine. But we're seeing the timeouts in other tests where we didn't see timeouts before, plus that invalid JIT return address. So I think we need to figure those ones out.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah. I'll put in an update today regarding the new failures we've seen and try to investigate what exactly is the cause of those.
Actually, have you looked at the out of memory failures?
Yes, I've been seeing the out of memory failures, but I'm not sure if they're really a out of memory or if it's just we've been sending signals to the VM and causing it to do more allocation on exceptions or crashes.
Is the out of memory something that happened before, or is that new? Do you know?
It is something that I suppose we've seen before relating to when a timeout occurs. Sometimes it gets triggered, but it's not something that we've seen very often. I'll have to take a look at the core file to make sure what exactly we're timing out on. No, sorry, we're out of memory on.
Yeah, so it seems we should be looking at that one too before deciding.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it sounds like we've got a bit to go here.
Actually, Pete, just a question. Is there any way we can know what the spec of the machines that are failing the test cases are?
What do you need to know? I can log into them.
Okay, thank you.
Just let me know what information you need and I'll gather it.
Okay.
Or if you need access to the machine, you can open an issue and get access.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything else we need to touch on for these 4 issues? Okay. So we're rapidly running out of time here, though, for if we want to get this out in the same time frame as or before a 20.1 is available. We're looking at a couple of weeks at most. Do we believe that we're still in line to get these things resolved within that time frame?
I suppose if the Skynet failure is just a performance issue, or if there's particular bugs in the code, as soon as we resolve it, all these failures should go away. But I'm hoping that there's no new cases where we seen in terms of failing. Rather, it was more like somewhere in the code wasn't coded correctly. Then we should be fairly close to getting it sorted out.
Okay, so it sounds like we're really tight and very iffy on whether we're going to be able to make that. All right, I guess there's not a lot more we can say on this call until we've done the investigation on those issues. So I guess it's worth picking this up again on the next call and seeing where we're at. All right. For JDK 20, there's a lot of issues in that plan as well. Are we in a state where we're starting to take down those issues, or have we been able to get people to start looking there?
It doesn't look like it.
Okay.
I'm not sure we have any of the right people on the call today, but we were hoping to whittle that down and figure out what exactly we needed to get a 20.01 out the door. But other than those things for 19, I suspect there's wouldn't be that much extra other than the stuff for 19 that would block a 20.01 release.
There was a lot of 19 things that got pushed forward.
Sure, but we can push forward them to 20.02.
Yeah, my concern is, as always, is there's only so much time before 21, which is the LTS people are going to pick up.
I mean, we'll get to the issues when we get to them. If they don't need to block a 20.01 and we had the Java 19 issues resolved, we could get a 20.01 out the door while we work on stuff. And whether those things get into 20.02 or whether they have to be deferred again to 21 depends on how much time people have.
Yeah. It's just a much longer list than is pleasant to see at this point. So,
Yeah, we were hoping to whittle it down, but I don't think anybody's done that.
all right. Probably not valuable to go further into that. Unless there's something else for 20, we'll jump to the next section. All right. Do we have anybody from the adopt group? Do you have an update there? Doesn't sound like it. we have an update on the infrastructure?
Seems to be fine.
Good to hear. I don't see Marius on the call, so I assume no update on JIT server or microjet. I believe Toby's at Dev Nexus, so likely no update on CRIU. And no Daryl, so no update on the Apple Silicon work. Is there anything else we want to touch on or to discuss today? All right, then. Thank you, everyone. We'll call this here, and the next meeting will be next week.
Thanks.